Hi there, my name is Dominic DiMaria. I'm an agent with Porcupine Real Estate, and I am joined here today by JL Sweeney from Sweeney Title Services. Hello, how are you?
Fantastic, Dominic. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for taking the time. So we are here today to talk about a few things to do with title. In a lot of real estate transactions, especially with first-time home buyers, there's a lot of people coming to you with a lot of questions, and people get confused. They don't know what title is, how it works. So we're going to do a series of these videos to describe what title does. So today we're going to go over the ALTA. So JL, what is the ALTA and what should we be looking for when we look at it?
The ALTA is the settlement statement that breaks down the closing costs that either a buyer or a seller is going to incur when purchasing or selling their property. Things to look for, it's a 2-page document typically. Yeah, there's a copy of it up on the screen.
We have an example here. So
the second page is typically where you would start when you're at the closing. And you'll see on the right-hand side are all the buyer's fees and charges. The left-hand side is the seller's costs. Things that you want to look for.
So basically, as a buyer,
what are the costs that are being charged to you?
Right. Okay, so I'm looking at the first section here where for the buyer, we've got our deposit. So that would be our earnest money that we put down when we went under contract.
Right. If we were going to start on the first page, the number one thing we would go through with the buyer is what's the sales price? In this instance, it shows the sales price as being $150,000. Mm-hmm. And then we would go through, okay, you gave a deposit. You're borrowing money from the bank. What's the new loan amount? Is your lender giving you any credit towards your closing costs? And if there is, you would see a credit there. Those credits are what is being put into the transaction by you to pay down towards the purchase price. So on the left column, you see the debits, which is the purchase price plus all the other associated charges with closing.
Okay.
And you would want to check to see.
How far in advance do you send out an ALTA?
Well, you would like to get that out at least 24 hours in advance. Unfortunately, the numbers do change, and sometimes they're changing at the last minute. So we would typically try to get a draft out 24 to 48 hours ahead of time so that everybody has a chance to see generally what the numbers look like. The hope is that there's not going to be any changes. If there are any changes, we would update it and get a copy to you prior to closing.
Oh, great. And if we could just scroll down to the second page again, just to double check anything that's there before we wrap up. And then the most important thing is just to make sure that the numbers at the bottom match what you're expecting to pay, right? I mean, that's
exactly. Yeah. Make sure that there's nothing out of the ordinary on there that you were not expecting to pay. And if there isn't, a lot of people have the question, all you got to do is ask the question. We'll get you the answer as to why it's on there.
Oh, and this would also be the area where you would see any adjustments for fuel oil, or anything along those lines, correct?
Yeah, if the parties are going to adjust for rent, fuel, there's a tax adjustment, all of that is on this settlement statement and would be prorated appropriately.
Great. Well, that kind of sums it up. So hopefully this answered some questions anybody might have about what an ALTA is. And we'll be doing a few of these videos to kind of go over everything else that's involved with the title search, as well as what services that Sweeney provides. So, well, thank you very much, JL. That was very informative.
My pleasure. Thank you.
How can people get in touch with you?
You can reach me at my office, which is 603-883-0711. My cell phone is 603-966-8050. And my email is just JL Sweeney at SweeneyLaw.com.
Great. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.